This is Chris Evert. At the age of 22, there is no doubt she has become the dominant force in women's international tennis. And the reasons are as follows. But one title that has eluded Chris Evert is a World Team Tennis Championships. She hopes to lead the Phoenix Racquets to that title in this 1977 season. And this is the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum in Oakland, California, where tonight the Phoenix Racquets, led by Chris Evert, go against the Golden Gators. And a good evening. Welcome to Oakland, California for HBO Sports. I'm Spencer Ross along with Julie Heldman. And tonight, a rematch of the Western Division titles in World Team Tennis of last year, where the Phoenix Racquets, who started off so strongly, Julie, however, came into the playoffs and were beaten back-to-back by this very competent Golden Gated club. And one of the reasons is great doubles play on the part of the Golden Gators.
That's right, and now they might have a chance to be beaten by some of their old ex-teammates. Françoise Dour used to be with the Phoenix Racquets. Now she's with the Golden Gators, and tonight, substituting for Tom Ocker, Andy Pattison, who last year was with the Phoenix team. It's going to be a strange switch about, and I think the Golden Gators still have the upper hand.
And Chrissy's off to a very slow start. She's lost her first two matches in team tennis.
Yeah, it's really strange. To Natasha Shmiriova outdoors in Plains, Georgia. It was a wonderful World Team Tennis event, but Chris says, not ready yet, huh?
Well, she obviously isn't, but as I spoke to her before the match, she said to me it's just going to take her a little bit of time to get her head into it. It has been such a successful year for Chris Evert, but like we say, she would love to lead these Phoenix Racquets to a World Team Tennis title. And we'll see what happens as the Phoenix Racquets go against the Golden Gators here in Oakland, California.
Ready? Play.
The mixed doubles right now, Fru McMillan to serve for the Golden Gators. Where's that little cap, the two-hand backhand, two-hand forehand, and that's Françoise Dour with a miss hit, so it's 0-1.
Spencer, despite that miss hit, I would say that McMillan and Dour are definitely the favorites in their match. Both are specialists in doubles.
They were the top mixed doubles team in World Team Tennis last year. 1-all.
Both of them born in 1942. There is Kristen Shaw, certainly one of the more glamorous members of World Team Tennis, and one of the most improved women players in the world this year.
And she is an excellent doubles and mixed doubles player, and makes it 2-1. Ross Case unable to get that yet. Ross Case, the player coach. Fru McMillan. And it is 3-1.
The Phoenix team has been putting all their returns directly at Frankie. I guess they expect that Frankie is not playing very well, though I don't think her doubles has been too bad. She wasn't moving her feet at all in practice out there. Kristen with one of the hardest forehands in women's tennis.
Excellent lob by Kristen Shaw. Out, and the game goes to the Golden Gators as Fru McMillan holds his service, and they lead it 1-0. Look right there at the Golden Gator bench. And Ross Case will serve
They
for
call
the
him
Phoenix Racquets.
Sorry, they call him the Snake.
There's a good reason for that, too, is there not?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the end of the point.
Can't put him up there like that to Fru McMillan. He'll just put him away.
There's a Snake coming in on his serve. He doesn't have a great serve, perhaps one of his major deficiencies, but he is very weak. Popped one up there to McMillan, who always pounds him away. Yep,
Right
in the
down
corner.
the line, and a beautiful backhand.
You can see what's wrong.
1-0.
Oh, we're going to see that shot now. See that line ball. I thought this one was right in the corner, and so did the linesman. Barely see it.
This is Ross Case's fourth year in World Team Tennis. only 25 years of age, and comes from a town with one of the great names in the world, Toowoomba, Australia. Two one.
Anybody can see what's wrong with Ross Case's serve. It's when he brings his racket down his back. When you watch it, instead of scratching his back with one side of the racket facing, it's the other part that faces. Let's see if I can explain that a little better.
2-all.
Here it is, a serve. See if we can stop it at right there. That's the part, just back there. He doesn't close his racket face enough to his back, so he slaps at the ball instead of getting a good wrist snap.
And doesn't get much velocity on it.
Well, it's not a bad serve. It's not a great serve. They call him the Snake because he always seems to be at the right place in the right time, taking advantage of whatever goes on. He got the nickname because once he was in a car full of 8 people with luggage, and he just sat there while everybody loaded his luggage. Fred Stolle said, "Hey, boy, you're a real snake," and it stuck.
Second service. That's some great gets by Frankie Dewar, and it ties it at 3-all. And we go now to the sudden death point.
The man receiving, as usually happens in mixed, it's Frew McMillan.
It's a pretty good serve right there. Beautiful forehand down the line by Christian Shaw, and the game goes to the Phoenix Racquets.
Everybody's temporizing still a bit. Nobody reels in it in the set yet. McMillan took that one on the fly, and it's a pop, pop, pop point. Kristen put it in the right place. Oop. She put it in the wrong place there. She just hit Norm Brooks, the umpire.
Françoise Dewar, a self-taught tennis player, and her style will let you know just how she became a self-taught tennis player. She, in quotes now, does everything wrong style-wise, except she just gets that ball into the court every time.
Well, not everything wrong. Look how well she bends there. Look how quickly she moves in. That's not wrong. That's all
she's an
right.
excellent tennis player, no doubt about it.
She's got the most amazing grip, though. She holds it like a heavy frying pan.
That is out.
Françoise Dur's serve, so slow, they couldn't time it when they were trying to see how fast women's serves were. She came in with the slowest serve. Frew.
1-2. Check it, 3-2.
Frankie serve very accurate still.
And the game goes to the Golden Gators. And they lead in the match by a score of 2-1. When I say that about Françoise Dewar, I don't say that in a derogatory term at all, Julia. She is just a marvelous tennis player, but she does so many things that I do. And that you wouldn't do, because you were a tennis player that was taught on courts with teachers. Frankie kind of did it all by herself.
She did it all by herself in the beginning. Eventually, when she grew up in Algeria, she learned to play in her own style. When she moved away from there to France, her coach, a Hungarian named Joseph Stolpa, said, "This woman has talent, she's unorthodox, but it works. The unorthodoxy works," and he refused to change her strokes. Billie Jean King has always said that if Frankie had been trained in America with more orthodox strokes, Frankie may have been #1 in the world, but who knows, maybe that orthodoxy helps her.
Mm-hmm. She has great wrists and tremendous power on her forehand, though. Just zips it over with that wrist action. Here's Christian Shaw on the service. Kristen Shaw had a great season on the Virginia Slim circuit. She was one of the 8 finalists that competed at Madison Square Garden just a couple of months back. And she serves here to Frankie Dewar.
her ex-teammate with the Phoenix Racquets. Kristen has improved her serve a great deal this year. She's gone to her teammate's coach. Her teammate is Butch Waltz. His father is Ken Waltz, and he's here tonight. They're from Modesto.
And the game goes to Kristen Shaw. 4 consecutive points, and it ties the match up at 2-all.
Kristen worked on her rhythm some, her toss, pretty much revamped her entire action, so that looks really quite good. She used to twist her body around a lot more.
Fru McMillan serving his second game of this set, and it is 1-0. Ross Case to receive. Beautiful lob. Great little half volley by Kristen Shaw. Great placement right there.
That's the second time Kristen has found the open hole when McMillan moved away or left too much space. McMillan was covering the middle. Kristen went for the alley. Now that was a super return. A lot of angle.
Makes it 1-2, and 2 excellent plays back-to-back
Serve
by
wide
Kristen Shaw.
Serve wide to her backhand there, a double-hander, but she picked it off. She learned the topspin backhand, which she used there also from Ken Waltz this winter in her off-season.
And put it right through Kristen that time. Ties it at 2-all.
Yeah, Case popped up a bit.
Chris Evert on the sidelines, and she'll be competing in match number 2, the women's singles, and then in the women's doubles.
McMillan went right for the body from the forehand side in, and there was nothing Shaw could do.
3-2. McMillan leads on his service. And Kristen just can't believe it.
A swing and a miss.
Strike 3, and the game goes to Fru McMillan.
What a get from Case there. Throwing himself all over. Look how much spin that was. All the players have been having trouble at the net. There's something strange about the light at the net. I've noticed that McMillan's been having problems, and Shaw really, well, it was like all of us anchors.
3-2 in favor of the Golden Gators. It's the opening set, and the Golden Gators undefeated in World Team Tennis so far this season, 3-0.
Ross Case only playing doubles tonight, a bit of a surprise. Butch Waltz will be playing singles for Phoenix.
And you're going to see perhaps not the greatest tennis player in the world, but you're going to see one of the quickest serves this side of Roscoe Tanner in professional tennis. And a young tennis player who's got a great future ahead of him.
Did you see that last point? Frankie also hit one on the edge of the racket. Difficulty seeing up there. Great lob, Frankie.
We talk about great placement. Francoise Dour. Watch this lob.
And a little miscommunication here. One of them could have had it.
2-1. Case leads on a service. That's a fault. And Frankie misplayed it after some good gets. 3-1. We've had no service breaks in this first set through 5 games. Golden Gators lead 3-2, and it's been a good mixed doubles match. And the game goes to Ross Case. Ties the match up at 3-3.
And Phoenix holds serve. 3-3. That's the game score.
Now this pair, Ross Case and Christian Shaw, holding their own. And you see Christian Shaw kind of shaking her head in amazement. A couple of the shots that she didn't get.
Well, she flubbed a few, it's true. There we get a good look at some of the other people in the Phoenix team. There's Chris Everett on the left. Was Stephanie Tollison. There's Ross Case in the foreground. On the right, Brian Cheney. The gray-haired man in the background, that's Ken Waltz. He's the one who's coached his son, Butch, who just walked by, and is telling Kristen what to do. I think he's saying, open your eyes.
He looks like he could still get out there and play a pretty good set or two of tennis.
I think he can. He's a teaching pro.
WTT is where the action is. Now serving, Francoise Dur, the Golden Gators.
Francoise Dur on the service. We're tied 3-3 in this first set of the evening.
Boy, Ross.
1-0.
Frankie does move her feet very well. Watch out. This is what's on that right foot is pretty silly on her serve, but she sure does get into the net quickly afterwards. It's soft, but it's deep.
Good lob.
Who just yelled back? What I was saying, Spencer, is when there was a lob that Fru knew he was going to have to be on defensive on, he yelled to his partner, Francoise Dur, get back. Good to communicate like that on the court.
And that, of course, one of the big secrets of success in mixed doubles or any kind of doubles competition. These two have played together quite a bit. Two all.
Fru McMillan using two hands on both sides. We've seen a lot of people who hit two-handed backhands in tennis. Fru McMillan started out playing in his own unorthodox style in South Africa. Picked up his cap from school and picked up his two-handed style because that's the way he does it. That was an unusual one right there. Kristen just hauled off and hit as hard as she could at the man. That's unusual.
2 break points here.
She did it on Frankie's powerhouse serve.
But if everybody could play the game the way she plays it. And 3-all. We got a sudden death.
Francoise Dur staying back in the beginning and slithering up to the net like a good doubles player.
Sudden death here.
Look how hard Kristen hits that forehand. And, oh no, she gets a short lob now.
And too short was that lob, and Fru McMillan saves the service to Francoise Dur, and the Golden Gators take a 4-3 lead.
Okay, Sue Barker has a great hard forehand, but I don't know who hits harder than Sue or Kristen. That was a short lob, and Fru took care of it.
4-3 in favor of the Golden Gators. Everybody's held service through 7 games.
Good serve, baby.
Christian Shaw serving. Now to Fru McMillan.
You're hearing a lot of noise from the bench. That was Ken Waltz saying, good serve, babe, to his pupil. Ooh, what a return.
Great spin on that serve, and Fru McMillan was there to put it right back.
Disguised. That was the feature of a two-handed stroke. You could do with your wrists a lot. Didn't get to see that.
Two-one.
Because Kristen Shaw and Francoise Dur played on a team together for 2 years in a row, once at Denver, once at Phoenix, they know each other's game backwards and forwards, and they know where to hit the ball to get a big point.
Second service. Christian Shaw thought it was good. Linesman did not. Frew looking at the racket. It's still all there. 2-all. Double fault. And we got 2 break points right here.
On the left, we have John Holliday, and on the right, Betsy Nagelson on the Gators team, both young players.
And we'll see Betsy teaming with Frankie Doerr in the women's doubles a bit later this evening.
And boy, is she on a hot streak. And there we have the new style of referees in tennis. Not sitting, not old, young and running around, standing up.
And there's the service break, the first one of the evening here in the 8th game, and it gives the Golden Gators a 5-3 lead.
5-3 in the match.
With the man serve coming up, Frew McMillan.
Now serving, Frew McMillan.
Serving to close it out. Little extra pressure on Kristen playing in front of her coach. Sometimes it makes you play better, sometimes it makes you tighten up. Oh!
Frew McMillan all over the court.
It's not being a pig, he was being smart. Frew moved straight in front of Frankie here to put the ball away.
With that 2-handed backhand. Good lob. That is out. Frankie hesitated for a moment, looked like she was going to try and play it, and then thought wiser.
Magnificent tennis here. She nearly lost the point by leaving an open court for her partner here. Every shot to Frankie, and she just went out.
Back live.
She wished it out.
And her wish came true. Great angle shot by Frew McMillan. And it is 3-0. And he can wrap up the set right here.
Kristen couldn't get it because it went right into her own bench. She missed.
That is out, and that is the set, 6-3. As Frew McMillan holds on to her service, and the Golden Gators with a service break in the 8th game against Christian Kemmer-Shaw have taken a 6-3 lead following the opening set. The winning doubles team, Frew McMillan, Francoise Doerr, and Julie Helvin standing by with them.
Well, we held on to our couple of 3-all points there that might have swung the match the other way, and of course ended up pretty strongly.
Frankie, you look like you were having trouble seeing the ball. Is that true?
At the beginning I did, and Christian was throttling very well, and I just keep telling me, keep watching the ball, and I think that's helped at the end.
So the old guys won again. Well, they're going to go out and play some more tennis, so back up to Spencer.
And there is Chris Evert. As we continue with the women's singles, Chrissy to go against Terry Holliday. Terry Holliday, resident of La Jolla, California. There she is. She's 22 years of age, a left-hander. Last year with the San Diego Friars. She has that 2-hand backhand also. There you see it.
Yeah.
1-0. Terry with good range. She is 5'11", 150 pounds. And had tremendous success in the early part of this 1977 year on the tournament trail. Ranked number 10 in the world against number 1, Chris Evert. That is out 3-0. Golden Gators lead the match 6-3 following the mixed doubles victory. Fru McMillan and Francoise Dour over Ross Case and Christian Kemmershaw. That's the game, and 4 straight points to Chris Everett.
Chris Everett's famous two-handed backhand. There she's showing her new one. She usually hits it with a topspin. There she put slice into it.
Terry Holliday to serve now to Chris Everett. Golden Gators lead the match 6-4. Trail in this set 0-1.
Double fault. 0-1.
Spencer Tracy's a big hitter, a bit of a hit and misser too. She's either on or she's off, and she catches fire and she can really go. Ranked number 10 in the world last year. She didn't start out the season too well, but it's gotten much better recently.
3-0. 0-3, check it. And a chance at a service break here for Chris Everett. Next week, a week from tonight, we're going to be in Portland, Oregon. San Diego, with Rod Laver goes against the Seaport Cascades with Betty Stova, as we continue with World Team Tennis right here on HBO. Here's the service break. So Chris Everett has won 8 straight points and 2 straight games and leads it 2-0, and she serves now to Terry Holliday, and Terry tying her shoelace down the other end of the court, and it's the kind of maneuver you might want to do just to get a bit of breath. You know, she needs a break right here. And there's the kind of point that can help start things off.
And you're going to see a very interesting tactic. Terry's coming in on a soft, low, fading ball, making Chris stretch and hit up, and she hit a sort of a lucky volley, but it was the early tactic that made it work.
And it's 0-2. A little bit of luck.
They all count.
Ooh. Caught Terry going the opposite way, and Chrissy put it home with the forehand. 1-2.
A very worried-looking Phoenix bench there. That's Ken Waltz in the foreground.
One, 3. 3 break points here for Terry Holliday. Chrissy's lost her first 2 matches of this young World Team Tennis season. Service break. Great volleying by Chris Everett and Terry Holliday, and the break for Terry Holliday, and she now trails 1-2.
Chris Everett playing really without her normal confidence in that last game. We're seeing a little bit of the reason why she's lost 2 sets already. One one to Greer Stevens, and one to Natasha Shmiryova. Let's have a look at Chris in a moment. What do you think of that one shoulder dress? Doesn't seem to hinder her at all. She doesn't seem to be anticipating that well when Terry hit the topspin wide to her backhand. Normally Chris can see these things in advance. She seems a bit hesitant. Look how late she is there.
And a little too late on that one, and that cost her the game.
Terry's coach here is Fru McMillan, a magnificent tactician, and we notice that Terry is hitting almost everything short. Normally a bad tactic against a lot of players. Now the question in my mind is Terry doing that on purpose, as she was told to do by Fru, or is she just not gotten any depth yet? I think it's probably on purpose.
Try and make Chrissy get away from her style of game of playing back on the baseline.
Yeah, I'm making her stretch forward, exactly.
So Terry Halliday has gotten the break back, and she now serves trailing 1-2. Golden Gators lead in the match, however, 7-5.
Yep.
Right down the line with that forehand and a beauty. Zero two.
Chris on the one run wide. She seems a little bit late, but she popped it up high so she could get back into point. That's a sign of an assured and experienced player, more than assured. Somebody who knows when not to hit with all her might. Terry Halliday maybe hasn't figured that out yet. She's young. She wasn't a great junior player. She's just showing her talent now. Most women players show how good they are by the time, believe it or not, by about the time they're 16, 17, 18.
How about you, Julie Feldman?
That's pretty good.
There's an ace, the first one. By the time you were 18, everybody knew how great a tennis player you were going to be.
Not everybody.
Second service here for Terry Halliday to Chris Evert. One, three, and 3 break points here for Chris Evert.
Oh, great lob.
Had Terry in close. Oh.
I bet we certainly should attribute this point to the fact that Terry has been working on her speed. She's been working out with Henry Hines, who's been making her do all kinds of exercises. He's a track star who's helped a lot of tennis players, including Arthur Ashe and Roscoe Tanner. He's been helping Terry recently, and she has speeded up a lot. I just talked to him, though, and he says that Terry has a back spasm, a muscle spasm in her back tonight. Could be hurting her.
Three all, and we got a sudden death.
Terry puts everything into every ball. She goes all out all of the time. Just about to start live here.
So Terry has survived 2 break points, and we come now 3 all, sudden death. And it's second service. Terry Halliday trailing in the set 1-2. Completely mishit it, and Chris Evert breaks Terry Halliday's service here in the 4th game. But a great game it was, and it makes it 3-1 in favor of Chrissy Evert.
Now serving for
Terry Holiday is hitting a lot of balls up and down the middle to Chris. And she looked over to her teammates there with a real sign of relief. Chris is looking for a win.
Her team still trailing in the match, though, 7-6. But Chrissy has taken a 3-1 lead in this set over Terry Holiday.
Chris has improved her serve a lot this year. She's going for more winners and better second serves. Chris says, I'm an emotional person and it's time the press knew about it. So she just slapped her thigh there so we'd all know. That's a great return.
And the point goes to Terry Holiday.
Terry Holiday has a lot of natural topspin off of both wings. There's her double-handed backhand. Very deceptive.
Great drop shot by Terry Holiday. Ties the game at 2-all.
Terry set it up on this one, coming in. Chris not with a very good forehand at all, and Terry constantly moving forward. She's improving her volley all the time. Good serve, Chris.
And a good return. 3-2. Chris can wrap up the game right here. But she is not having an easy time of it all. Little too short with that lob. Way too short was Chris Evert. And Terry Holiday got the 5-11 in front of it.
Yep, she just reached that arm up there. It was an offensive lob, low and fairly hard. But Terry got a racket on it, and that was enough.
Back live sudden death in this 5th game. Service break. Well, Terry Holiday has broken Chris Evert's service for the 2nd time. She still trails in the set 3-2, but she can even it up here. And the Golden Gators lead in the match by a score of 8-6. Kind of a surprise, this particular set, Julie.
It's true. But Terry Holiday has been doing very well. She's won 2 of her 3 sets so far, and Chris has not been playing well on team tennis. She's lost her opening 2 sets.
0-1. Chris came out so strong, too, in this set. Won the first 2 games, 8 straight points. Broke Terry's service in the 2nd game. Wow. One, two.
Well, Chris proves that a bad drop shot doesn't work against her. That was high and short, and Chris put it away, even though Terry guessed right.
Second service here. 8-6. Golden Gators lead the Phoenix Racquets. Chris Evert. That is out. 2-all.
Terry Holiday's very happy in her new home here with the Golden Gators. Last year she played for San Diego, but this year she has her brother on the team, John Holiday. He's 24. He's a pretty good player, but he practices with Terry all the time and helps her, makes her feel happy.
2-3.
Terry had a good chance for that one. She guessed right and flubbed it. It happens.
And 2 break points here for Chris Evert.
Terry with a fairly low toss on her serve. Not a bad idea.
And there's a service break for Chris Evert here in the 6th game. So she has broken Terry Holliday's serve now on 3 occasions, the 2nd, 4th, and 6th game. And Terry Holliday has come back to do it on 2 occasions in game 2 and game number 4. But Chris Evert now leads the set by a score of 4-2. And there is Terry Holliday, 24 years of age, from La Jolla, California.
Actually, her brother is 24.
Oh,
She's 21.
22.
Sorry about that. Got her birthday wrong, I did.
Well, she will be 22 in a couple of months.
Okay.
Spencer Ross and Julie Hellman. This is the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum in Oakland, California, part of the complex which also houses the football stadium which the Oakland Raiders play at. And Chris Evert getting set to serve. She leads the set 4-2.
There's a lot of parrying going on the court, a lot of hitting up and down the middle. It's as if the 2 players are trying to figure out, wait for an opening. They're hitting down the middle a lot, then going for the angles. Like that one down the middle.
And Chris Evert with a forehand cross court takes a 2-0 lead in this 7th game. And she can tie up the match right here at 8-all for her Phoenix Racquets. One, two.
Certainly, Terry has been playing to Chris Everett's backhand more than anybody would expect. Chris Everett's backhand is the most famous backhand in women's tennis at the moment. But there they go to the backhand.
And again, it is out, but barely.
This is the famous backhand. What's so good about it normally is the early preparation. She's a little bit later than usual there. And also the fabulous complete stroke. She stays with the ball the whole time. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
3-2 Phoenix.
3-2.
Good serve.
Would not go. And Chris Evert holds on to her service. And there is Christian Kemmershaw, Chris Everett's teammate. And Chrissy Evert taking a 5-2 lead in this 2nd set. And we're tied at 8-all in the match. And this is a big point right here. Terry Holliday. She can hold her own service, and even if Chrissy wraps it up on her own, following the 2 sets, we'd be all even at 9. And misplayed there by Terry Holliday.
We may well have seen what the back spasm did to her. I mean, she didn't seem to want to stretch for that one. With all the time in the world, Chris took aim and hit moderately softly to the place she wanted the ball.
0-2. Chris Evert has already broken Terry Holliday's service in the second, fourth, and sixth games of this set. Terry Holliday with service breaks in the third and fifth. Zero three right now. And 4 break points for Chris Evert. And she can wrap up the set 6-2. One three. Terry Holliday battling back. Christian Kemmershaw on the Phoenix bench. Completely miss it. And that is it. The service break for Chris Evert. Our 4th service break of the set. Chris Evert, a 6-2 winner in a match over Terry Holliday, and Julie Hellman standing by to chat with the winner of the women's singles competition this evening. Julie?
Chris, how up were you for that set against Terry Holliday?
I was pretty psyched up for the match. Before the match, my teammates told me 3 strikes and I'm out.
You're out of what?
I don't know. I think I'm off the team. I lost my first 2 singles, and I just couldn't get psyched up for it. And tonight, I really felt good. I felt, like a tennis pro, and I felt like my own self. And I played aggressive, and I thought I played a good match.
So did I. Did Ken Waltz say anything special to you?
Yes, I've been having trouble with my serve as usual, and I think my percentages first serves in was incredible for me. I'm sure I got 80 or 85% of them in. And when I have someone always telling me how to serve, then I can, serve much better.
You look pretty good out there to me tonight, but you are the champion of the world, and you always look good to me. Thanks, Chris, and back up to Spencer.
9-8 the score in favor of the Phoenix Racquets over the Golden Gators, following Chrissy Everett's 6-2 victory over Terry Holliday. The mixed doubles went to the Golden Gators. Fru McMillan and Francoise Dour. A very impressive 6-3 victory over Ross Case and Christian Kemmershaw. And right now we go to the women's doubles, which will feature Francoise Dour of the Golden Gators teaming up with Betsy Nagelson. And Betsy Nagelson, 21 year older from Winnetka, Illinois. And she has played very, very well in the early going here in World Team Tennis. Back in 1974 in her first pro tournament, she defeated both Virginia Wade and Olga Morozova at Newport. And a lot of people began to realize that this young woman was going to be quite a tennis player. In the forecourt right there, you see Christian Shaw, Chris Evert, back ready to receive service from Betsy Nagelson as we get started in the women's doubles. 9-8, very close match thus far. That is out. Betsy Nagelson has won 2 of her 3 women's doubles matches thus far with Francoise Dour. The Golden Gators undefeated going into play tonight. They've won 3, lost 0. And the Phoenix Racquets 1-1 on the year. Three-0.
Spencer, Betsy Nagelson is having the best tennis of her career right now.
Good return by Christian Shaw, and right up the middle by Frankie Dour, and the game goes to Betsy Nagelson.
Betsy this year won the Avon Futures Championships in Palmetto Dunes and Hilton Head Island, winning $9,000, her biggest ever prize. And as Dave Peterson, the owner of the Golden Gators, says, she is the mainstay of this doubles team. She's playing better than Frankie. That was a mighty swing from Kristen, who just says, sorry I nearly belted you, Betsy.
Well, Betsy came up with a great get just prior to that. That is out. 2-0. Match is all tied up, 9-9. The Golden Gators and the Phoenix Racquets. And these two clubs will undoubtedly be fighting for first place in the Western Division all season long here in World Team Tennis.
Sir, beautiful.
3-0. Pretty good crowd on hand here this evening. Earlier this week in New York's Madison Square Garden, the New York Apples with nearly 10,000 fans on hand for their first match ever in the big arena at the Garden.
They came out to watch Bjorn Borg, who is playing for Cleveland, and Billie Jean King, who plays for the Apples.
And Ray Ruffles pulled a big upset by beating Bjorn Borg in their set. The game here goes to Chris Evert on her service, and we're tied 1-1 in this set, and it is 10-9 in favor of the Phoenix Racquets. Tom Ocker not with the Golden Gators this week. And Andrew Pattison will be taking his place tonight in the men's singles.
That's right, Ocker's in the WCT Doubles Championships in Kansas City. It's kind of interesting to see just how low Frankie gets down to her first volley. Often her knee is scraping the ground.
Down the middle. 1-2.
This one she wasn't quite orthodox. She was, one leg was wide there. Well, maybe it's an orthodox Frankie point.
Like some of the great running backs in football, built low to the ground, great balance. Frankie moves so well. Knows exactly where she's going. Great experience.
Oh, beautiful.
Great angle forehand down by Chris Evert.
This is the one. She comes up and over the ball, leaving Frankie no chance. Oh, an ace from Françoise Dour.
And you do not see that happen very often.
It has happened to me. Frankie has aced me on big points, and I got to tell you, it's embarrassing.
That's a lead ball. 3-all. Sudden death here. This is the third game of this set. And Phoenix leads 10-9. There's the point and the service break for the Phoenix Racquets, as Chris Evert put an excellent forehand down the line and Betsy Nagelson unable to come up with it. So Phoenix has now taken the lead by a score of 11-9. And remember, at one point they were trailing 6-3 in this match following the mixed doubles competition. This match will be followed by the women's singles with Butch Waltz going against Andrew Pattison.
They're the two holidays there talking about Terry's loss. I just asked Terry if her back really was hurting, and she said no, it wasn't really bad. But maybe she's a good politician. They do look alike, don't they?
They sure do. Beaten this evening by Chris Evert by a score of 6-2. Tomorrow night, Friday, here on Home Box Office, May the 6th, let's take the train ride to Hollywood. with Guy Marks, Bloodstone, Michael Payne, Jay Lawrence. It's a fast-moving musical comedy. Tomorrow night here on HBO, Train Ride to Hollywood.
The holidays look alike. What do you think about Kristen and Chris? There's a bit of look-alike out there. Betsy Nagelson in 1974 looked like she was going to be one of the great players of the 1970s, but she was fooling around with her young buddy Martina Navratilova, tripped over the net, hurt her back, and it stayed bad for a year and a half. It's taken her a long time to build her confidence back to the level it was then. In one tournament in 74, at the age of 18, she beat Virginia Wade and Olga Morozova, but she had a really dry spell for a while, and now it's coming back.
That is out. Good decision by Betsy Nagelson right there to let it go.
Betsy Nagelson went to see the movie Rocky this year, as many of the women tennis players did, but she went one step further than the rest of them, adoring it. She walked on the court most of the time, bouncing a blue ball, squeezing it. Her boyfriend called her Adrian.
She didn't go to any meatpacking companies, though, and started hitting tennis balls at the sides of beef, did she?
Almost, but not quite.
11-9. Phoenix leads in the match. This game tied 2-all. And Kristen Shaw and Chris Evert lead this set 2-1. Betsy Nagelson right down the middle. And it's 2-3 and 2 break points here for Betsy Nagelson and Frankie Durr.
Kristen having trouble on her serve again. She lost her serve to lose the mixed for the deciding break.
3-all. We got a sudden death.
Durr and Nagelson decide that Durr will receive. They have the choice in 3-all sudden death points.
And Kristen Shaw holds on to her service. And the Phoenix Racquets lead in this set now 3-1, and they've taken an overall 12-9 lead in this match. And the Golden Gators got to get that service break back. A look at the Golden Gator bench right there. And a look at Betsy Nagelson, who was all set to serve.
Before Betsy's net tripping incident, she used to bend her back a lot on her serve. Watch here, she hardly bends it at all, straight like a rod. The bend was in the legs, not in the back. Kristen standing way in for the second serve. She wants to hit it. Oh, and she did!
Right down the line to tie it at 1-all.
And it was a tough serve, too. Obviously, they'd planned in advance for her to go down the line.
And Betsy puts it into the net. It is now 1-2.
Kristen gaining in confidence on that slammer of a forehand. Oh, yeah.
1-3. Kristen Kammershaw with a cross-court forehand, and she had Betsy Nagelson going the opposite way. Seeing not only good tennis, today, we're seeing smart tennis. Like that.
Smart and lucky. Hit the wood.
2-3.
Steel, fiberglass. Yep, it was good again.
Right on the line, and the game goes to No, let's check it.
What happened? Oh, they were trying to change courts. Let's see how what we saw the ball as.
Right on the line. Good call by the referee. It is now 4-1 on the service break in this 5th game against Betsy Nagelson. And it's 13-9 in favor of the Racquets.
Ross Case, coach of the Phoenix team, up and arguing about the service call. Talking to Norm Brooks, who's in the chair. He's a good senior player himself. Works for a sporting goods company. Very involved in tennis. He says, nope, serve was good. And it's a point to the Golden Gators.
Two one. Little mix-up on communications between Chrissy and Christian in that one.
We nearly had a lovely Gallic fit of rage from Françoise Durand. Golden Gators in real trouble here. Frankie needs to get a return in.
Game goes to Chris Evert and Christian Shaw. They lead the set now 5-1. And in the last 2 sets, the Phoenix Racquets have put together 6, count them, service breaks against the Golden Gators. And they've turned this match around. They lead it now by 5 points, 14-9. And Chris Evert with our 6-2 victory over Terry Holliday. And right here, a 5-1 lead for Evert and Shaw over Françoise Durand and Betsy Nagelson. Next week, a week from tonight, Julie, myself, we're going to be in Portland, Oregon. The Seaport Cascades, that's what they're calling that team. That's going to spend its half its season in Seattle and half in Portland. They go against Rod Laver in the San Diego club. Should be a pretty good match.
Yeah, it should be interesting. The Seaport has Gorman and Stovin, and San Diego also has Carrie Melville Reed.
Yeah, Mona Garant, a pretty darn good women's doubles player on the San Diego club.
All right, Mona Garant and Julie Anthony, who's also on San Diego, have been in the semis of Wimbledon.
So that's next week, a week from tonight, right here on HBO from Portland, Oregon. San Diego against Seattle. Portland, Seaport, the Cascades.
Dora and Nagelson out here fighting for games for their team.
They've got to hold their service here.
They started this set at 9 games all for the Golden Gators and the Phoenix Racquets. Now they're down 9 games to 14. It's not looking too good.
1-2 and a possibility of another service break here. Frankie Doer's service was broken back in the 3rd game, and that's what started the problems. 2-all. And Betsy Nagelson's service was broken in the 5th.
Frankie's mighty powder puff, as usual, in a little bit of trouble.
Good serve there, though.
Oh, good shot.
A great volley. And Betsy Nagelson puts it into the net. And 2 break points here.
Set points, too. Oh, and that did it.
That is it. The service break in the 7th game, and the women's doubles goes to Chris Evert and Christian Kemmer-Shaw by a score of 6-1. And the Phoenix Racquets have now taken a 15-9 lead over the Golden Gators with but 2 matches remaining. The men's singles, Butch Waltz against Andrew Patterson, and the men's doubles with Waltz teaming up with Ross Case against Fru McMillan and Andrew Patterson of the Golden Gators. So following the first 3 matches here at halftime, it's the Phoenix Racquets 15 and the Golden Gators 9.
Plan ahead for great entertainment next week on Home Box Office, starting with George Segal and Goldie Hawn in The Duchess and the Dirtwater Fox. Bank robberies, dance hall riots, posses, and passions combine to make this a sparkling Western comedy. Then, it's a change of pace for Segal as he plays it for keeps in Russian Roulette, an exciting tale of double agents, double crosses, and double trouble, sure to keep you at the edge of your seat. Peter Fonda finds himself up against great odds in Fighting Mad. It's a two-fisted saga of strip mining and murder, produced by the master of cheek violence, Roger Corman. And enjoy action, adventure, and the martial arts in The Man from Hong Kong. Jimmy Wang Fu, successor to the famed Bruce Lee, stars in this high-energy thriller. Finally, Cliff Robertson and Genevieve Bujold star in an eerie tale of love, kidnap, and coincidence. A fascinating riddle of fantasy and guilt. Obsession. It's a week you won't want to miss next week on Home Box Office.
The forte of the Golden Gators is their play in doubles competition, and Fru McMillan and Francoise Dour showing just why they were the #1 last season in WTT, taking a 6-3 decision from Ross Case and Christian Shaw. Then it came time for Chris Evert to win her first WTT match in 3 tries this season, a 6-2 victory over Terry Holliday. And then Evert and Christian Shaw teamed up to beat Francoise Dour and Betsy Nagelson 6-1. So at halftime, it was 15-9 in favor of the Phoenix Racquets. But in World Team Tennis competition, a 15-9 advantage at the end of the half is something that is not insurmountable. And then we went to the men's singles competition. Butch Waltz, big hard serve for the Phoenix Racquets, going against Andy Patterson. Patterson taking the place of Tom Ocker, who was away in Kansas City participating in the WCT doubles. And as we pick up play now, in the 4th set of the evening, Butch Waltz leads Andy Patterson by a score of 3-2, with Waltz serving in the 6th game. And that's the first ace of the set for Butch Waltz.
And we congratulate Butch for that, and also for his recent marriage. He got married about a week and a half ago.
And we got to congratulate Andrew Patterson also. Andrew's wife Daphne gave birth to their first son, Sean, just about a month ago. So a couple of happy people out there. Butch Waltz and Andrew Patterson. Game goes to Butch Waltz. He leads the set now 3-2 and is playing very, very well. As far as Phoenix is concerned, if Butch Waltz can just stay close, hold his service throughout, it'll put Phoenix up by 6 to 7 points heading into the final match of the evening. Here's the Phoenix bench. Butch's dad is the gentleman closest to us. And Andrew Patterson getting into a bit of a groove. 3-0.
Patterson's moving his serve around a lot, exploiting, as I was going to say, Butch's forehand weakness. Sometimes playing wide to the forehand, sometimes serving to the backhand, and volleying to the forehand. Oh, no, wrong way.
Butch guessed wrong, and the game goes to Andrew Patterson.
4 different points, 4 different ways Patterson played them. He played a beautiful game, and here he wrong-footed Waltz, who had no chance.
So the set tied at 3-3. It's 18-12 in favor of the Phoenix Racquets. Looking ahead to the final match of the night, the men's doubles. It'll be Waltz and Ross Case going against Frew McMillan and Andrew Patterson. And this match is far from over, especially when you have Frew McMillan teaming up with anybody in a doubles competition.
Absolutely right. McMillan, one of the finest doubles players in the world, teamed with Bob Hewitt, winner of almost every major title going.
Saturday, May the 7th, that's this Saturday, the Smothers Brothers Last Stand. Tommy and Dick Smothers, you see them right here on HBO. Their last performance together as a comedy duo taped at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada, backed up by Al Gambino's 27-piece orchestra. That's the Smothers Brothers, their last stand here on HBO this Saturday. Butch Waltz serving now for Phoenix. The set all even 3-3. Phoenix leads 18-12.
These two guys practiced with each other a lot last year.
Both as members of the Phoenix Racquets. Great course cork by Patterson, 0-1.
Patterson's return was high. Even his second shot was high, but when he got an opening, he plugged it with topspin. You know, I would have given anything to be able to hit an overhead the way that guy hits an overhead. That sure would have gone over well in women's tennis.
Mm-hmm. There's no chance when you hit him like that.
Toss, said Waltz to himself. The second serve was still short, Spencer. If you go for so much on your first serve, you have to make it extra careful on the second serve. There's Ken looking at his son. Butch.
And it's 1-3 now. 3 break points for Andrew Patterson in a key moment here in this match.
Patterson taking full advantage of short second serves. Standing way back for the first serve. Teeing off.
And a good return by Butch Waltz. 2-3.
Look how far behind that baseline Patterson stands. He's going to take that last point. He took a full roundhouse swing at that first hard serve.
Three all, and it's a sudden death opportunity here. Andrew Patterson had 3 break points. He is down to 1. His team trailing 12-18. And Butch Waltz holds on to his service.
The difference between the beginning of that game and the end of that game, Waltz got his first serve in at the end of the game when it really counted.
Andy Patterson, serve for the Golden Gators.
19-12 in favor of Phoenix. Andy Patterson showing flashes, and I guess that's been his style throughout his tennis career. Flashes of tremendous brilliance.
He jumps well, he moves well, he has no major errors, technical difficulties in his game. He just doesn't seem to concentrate all the time. There's Coach Waltz in the corner.
Andrew Patterson playing very well right now. 3-0.
Yeah.
3-1.
3-1.
Good backhand by Butch Waltz makes it 3-2.
They just yelled at Butch to stay low, which means bend your knees, get a little closer to the court. Yeah. Got 6'4" to bend down. Oh, that's a great return.
Ties it at 3-all.
He ran all the way around it in the way John Newcomb does from that side of the court and hit inside out. Patterson never had a chance. Back live, and Patterson's missed his first serve.
Sudden death.
Oh, it's an ace! An ace on the second serve.
And the ace allows Andrew Patterson to hold his service and tie the set at 4.
And that's when Butch was moving left. Patterson saw him do it the point before. Served down the middle.
So it is now 19-13 in favor of the Phoenix Racquets. And once again, Andrew Patterson, to get his club back into this, he's got to break Butch Waltz's service right here. Almost broke Butch Waltz's jaw. Not his service with that one.
And he doesn't really have enough of a killer instinct. He doesn't really go for the jugular. He sat back and watched his backhand there.
2-0.
I know the feeling. I didn't have the killer instinct either. What kind of a joke's going on the Phoenix bench?
Well, they're up by 6 points, 19-13.
Butch Waltz, the local favorite here, even though he's playing for Phoenix. He comes from Modesto, which isn't very far away.
2-1.
Deep second serve, chipped return, as Waltz is stuck behind the service line. He has to choose. Chose the wrong way from the way Patterson hit it.
What did Waltz do on that particular hit, Julie?
He hit his forehand volley late and without confidence. Got it crammed into his right hip. Ooh, yeah. Oh.
Called a let ball. Didn't slow it up much, though, hitting the net, did it?
Going for the big one again.
The cross-court backhand by Andrew Patterson, and he has his opportunity at the service break.
I don't know what happened to Waltz on the way in here. He got stuck. He could have taken an extra step and hit on the volley, and that's what lost him the point. He waited.
2-3.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the service break for Andrew Patterson in the 9th game, and he takes a 5-4 lead. And the Golden Gators have closed now to within 19-14. And if Andrew Patterson can hold on to his service here in the 10th game, it'll be a 4-point match going to the final set of the evening. Crowd hooting and hollering. The scoreboard reads it as 20-13, and actually the score is 19-14. And they'll change that around. You can be sure that Fru McMillan, Andrew Patterson, and the rest of the Golden Gators will not allow that score to stand. Saturday, May the 7th, right here on HBO, Obsession with Cliff Robertson and Genevieve Bujold. Eerie supernatural mystery, love and reincarnation. That's Obsession this Saturday on May the 7th.
Okay, Spencer, the guy who I said didn't have the killer instinct is about to close off this match.
If he can hold on to his service.
Well, I still stick with what I say. Pattison doesn't quite hit it hard enough. That's Kristen Shaw with an ice pack on her wrist. She's had a bad wrist for a long time. As a matter of fact, she was having people pull it out before the match.
1-all. Check it 2-1. Pattison puts it away to make it 3-1.
It was a pretty good get by Butch. He got it up, but it was short and easy to put away.
Set point right here for Andrew Pattison. If he holds it, it's a 6-4 victory. Down the line with a backhand by Butch Waltz makes it 3-2. And Butch Waltz just bided his time and put it where Andrew Pattison wasn't. And there it is, Andrew Pattison takes the set by a score of 6-4, and the Golden Gators are back in this one. It is now 19-15 in favor of the Phoenix Racquets, and we have one more set to go, and that is the men's doubles with Butch Waltz and Ross Case to go against Frew McMillan and Andy Patterson. So a big victory right there for Andy Patterson. 6-4, and it is 19-15 in favor of the Phoenix Racquets.
What did it feel like to be playing against your old teammates?
Well, it's a peculiar feeling, you know. I was with that team for a couple of years, and I got to know them all well. They're all my friends, but I'm playing for the Golden Gators tonight, so I was doing my very best to beat them.
Did you know Butch Waltz's game backwards and forwards from practicing with him?
Yeah, I know his game pretty well. He's got this very big serve. I figured if I could return his serve, I'd be in the match, and that's what happened. I was able to get a few of his serves back and get close on his service games, and eventually I broke him at 4-all.
Was it a psychological advantage from having beaten him in practice before?
I don't think so. I think we probably both regard practice completely differently from matches, you know, and he's improved a lot in the last year or so, so I knew it would be a tough match.
Thanks, Andy, and back up to Spencer.
Thank you, Julie Heldman, and we get set now for the final set of the evening, the men's doubles. Butch Waltz and player coach Ross Case for the Phoenix Racquets against Frew McMillan, the player coach of the Golden Gators, and Andy Patterson, who just came off that fine 6-4 victory over Butch Waltz in the men's singles. A 4-point differential as we start here with Phoenix out in front by a score of 19-15. Remember, in World Team Tennis, if you do not win the final set, even if you have the lead, the match is not over. You play till you win a game or until the opposition finally ties you up. And when that happens, you then go into what they call the super tiebreaker. That's a 13-point tiebreaker. Frew McMillan serving to Butch Waltz. And now serving to Ross Case.
Men from 4 different countries on the court out there, a South African, a Rhodesian, playing against an Australian and an American.
The United Nations.
Anglo-Saxon style.
3-1.
3-1, Golden Gate.
Drew McMillan holds on to his service in very fine fashion. It is now 19-16 overall. Phoenix still out in front. And McMillan and Patterson lead this set 1-0. And now Butch Waltz to serve to Andy Patterson.
I'd say 140 miles an hour.
I'd say that's pretty close. I'd say that's an ace.
It really is lovely, that service action. Could have been a good pitcher, too, I bet.
Mm-hmm. Two-one. When you move Waltz, though, into that second service, it changes quite a bit.
Yeah, he puts a lot of spin on the second serve. Look how far back Drew McMillan's standing. Unusual in doubles. Way back there. Yep, it's in.
Butch Waltz guessed wrong. And it is 2-all.
The Southern African team playing for the Golden Gators, both of them standing behind the baseline. They may throw up a high lob here. I couldn't get to it.
That's the second ace for Butch Waltz. Check it, that's 3 aces for Butch Waltz.
In this game.
And
Patterson's moving in for the second serve, showing that they could do something with a second serve.
And Butch Waltz holds on to her service. Ties the set at 1-all. Phoenix still leading in the match by a score of 20-16.
Final set, ladies and gentlemen, 2016. Serving for the Golden Gators, Andy Patterson.
Drew McMillan usually teams with Tom Acker in his men's doubles team. They were #1 in World Team Tennis last year. Now Andy Patterson taking Acker's place till he returns from Kansas City.
That was a short topspin lob, which Patterson took good care of, set up by the volleys. Patterson is in form.
4 straight points to win the game, and a 2-1 lead for the Golden Gators in this set.
He's really acrobatic there, isn't he? Funny that he gets patches of when he really wants to go forward and hit the ball hard, and sometimes he just doesn't.
And during the course of an evening, Julie, you can actually see it. You see when Andy Patterson's in a groove. When he's in a groove, he's flying all over the court and playing like the greatest tennis player in the world, or close to it. And then in other moments, it seems to elude him.
It's true.
There he is, Andrew Patterson, just 27 years of age, and still a lot of good tennis ahead of him. And we've seen some of it tonight.
Did you see how hot and sweaty he looked at the end of one set? That's often a sign of being fit, though. Believe it or not, you sweat more the fitter you are. I mean, I go out in a tennis court now, and I wouldn't sweat at all. I just pant and fall over.
Ross Case, the player coach now, serving him for the Phoenix Racquets.
There's Kristen Shaw, with Chris in the background. They have a very pretty women's team, the Phoenix Racquets do, and I think they probably use more mascara per eyelash than any other pro team in
See, if
sports.
a male said that, you know, he'd immediately be branded as a male chauvinist, whatever.
There they are.
But you can say that. Oh, beauty. Andy Patterson. Right down the line. 1-2. Golden Gators looking for another service break here. Two all.
Yep, this is the final set. The Golden Gators are only 3 games behind. A service break would help them a lot. They really need 2 service breaks to come even.
Of course, if they win the set, World Team Tennis rules say they continue to play until the leading team can win a game.
Beautiful lob.
Oh, and Fru McMillan right there.
What a perfect lob. And Fru McMillan, the master of angle, puts it away completely out of reach there. That was a wide angle.
Break point here. 3 all. They got a sudden death.
Andy moved properly. Missed a sitter. It was Andrew Patterson's reactions that saved them, gave them that lob there, and eventually won them the point.
So the service break puts the Golden Gators within 2, 20-18. And Fru McMillan serving. McMillan and Patterson lead the set 3-1. Double fault for Fru McMillan. One, two. All of a sudden, McMillan's having a bit of a problem with his service. Two all. Walt's got it on the second bounce. A great reaction again by Andy Patterson.
Yeah, Walt's hustled, but he's still not quite fast enough. So put away volley.
You will not see that happen very often with Fru McMillan.
No, he's blowing it. He seems to be trying to pull himself together, though. He's getting his serve in better. He missed a few volleys.
Break point right here. 2 break points. And it is 3 all. That one hit up all the way on, nearly on the roof, top of the scoreboard. 3 all, sudden death. McMillan trying to hold on to his service. And that is a fault. And there is the service break. McMillan is broken right back in the 5th game to make it 3-2.
Ken Waltz looks pretty happy about that. It was Ross Case's return of serve that did it there. Ross Case, the captain of the Phoenix team.
Oh, McMillan.
McMillan doffing his hat to the crowd as he took over this point. That's an impossible angle. He did it with his wrists.
Two on. A check of 1-all.
McMillan seems to have woken up to his responsibility for having lost the last game. Look, both players are standing back behind the baseline on the other side. And
Now
McMillan moves in for the second serve. Oh, yeah, Krista.
Christian Shaw. One, two.
At this stage in a match, Pancho Gonzalez would be hitting his first serve in with about 50 to 75% of his power. Butch Waltz is still trying to hit too hard. Look, no, that way he took some off that one.
Fru McMillan, one of the great double players in the world. And again, McMillan and Patterson both way behind the baseline. Patterson to receive the service. And 2 break points here.
I give the kid credit. He's going for his first serve in. He's not just trying to thump the ball. There they are, way back.
He thumped that one. 3-all, sudden death here. 3-2-3 the score in this set. Waltz and Case trail. And Butch Waltz holds on to his service in a very well played game. And it ties this set up at 3-3. And Phoenix with a 4-point lead, 22-18. Now this men's doubles match earlier in the evening, the mixed doubles match with Ross Case and Christian Shaw against McMillan and Dewar. 2 of the exciting moments of the evening. This Sunday, some exciting moments here on HBO. May the 8th on location. We go with Steve Martin, a wild, zany, and utterly unpredictable Steve Martin, both bright and funny. He doesn't do jokes, but he rather flows from one bizarre premise into the next. And the result, a fast-moving stream of comedic craziness that includes magic, juggling, balloon animals, Indian folk songs, and good banjo music. That's On Location with Steve Martin this Sunday on May the 8th. Real super show. You join us here on HBO. Butch Waltz, who held his service just a moment ago, and now Andy Patterson. That's the way to do it. The opposition may not like it, but you can't hit them back when they hit right at you.
No, the guys don't mind either.
One all.
Guys don't mind so long as they don't. If you hit somebody, you got to be ready to be hit back.
Like Phil McMillan just did. Right back at Ross Case. Now we heard some real cheering from the crowd. When World Team Tennis first began, there was one of the items. We had some real wild crowds in places like Pittsburgh, and it's
Pittsburgh
calmed
with
down
it.
to a great extent.
Yeah, and they used to say as nasty things as they could about the players' private lives.
So Andrew Patterson holds on to his serve, makes it 4-3. Look at the Golden Gator bench, and Ross Case set to serve. 22-19. Phoenix out in front by 3.
The new scoring system is all that can really save the Golden Gators right now. Even if they win this set from here, they'll still be behind in total points. But if they win the very last game, they get to continue until they even the score up. And then we go to the super tiebreaker. Ross Case with his slap action serve.
Can't hit it again. If you hit it, put it right into the man's chest, and that's just what Andy Patterson did. 0-2.
Waltz's forehand volley looks like it has some weaknesses, but he certainly works hard at his game, and he does punch forward on it. When he gets an opening, he really goes for it. With a serve like that, it would be nice to see him going somewhere.
2-all. He's a very determined young man, too, who's working at improving his game. Not just lying back with the natural ability he has. Oh, Andy Patterson off balance. Got the backhand off right down the line.
He caught Waltz leaning to his right. Didn't have enough time to get back to it.
Break point here. And there it is. For the second time, Ross Case's service is broken. And it's a 5-3 lead for the Golden Gators. It is now 22-20 in favor of the Phoenix Racquets. And here's the situation. If Rue McMillan holds service, the match is not over, even though the set is at 6-3. Referee with a hand on the net to check for
light
balls. Oh, angle shot by McMillan, and a beauty.
Did you hear the squeals of the Phoenix women as Butch teed off and hit a winner down the middle there?
1-all. 2-1.
2-1, Golden Gate.
Oh!
Butch Waltz again.
Another super winner. He's more erratic with his forehand than with his backhand, but when he goes for winners.
He's put 2 of them away. It is 2-all here in this 9th game. Oh, through McMillan right down the middle. And set point coming up here.
What's so pretty about a great doubles player is the way he or she keeps moving forward. Frew was all over the net. And again.
That is out. The set goes to Frew McMillan and Andrew Patterson by a score of 6-3. And the scoreboard now reads 22 for Phoenix and 21 for the Golden Gators. And we go into overtime. And the overtime will begin with Phoenix serving. If Phoenix holds its service, the match is over. However, if Fru McMillan and Andy Patterson can break the service of Butch Waltz of the Phoenix Racquets, that would tie the match at 22-22, and then we would begin the super tiebreaker of 13 points. And of course, just theoretically, if this were a 3-point match right now, after McMillan and Patterson had won their match, play would start and then continue until the leading team came up with a game.
We were just looking there at McMillan with his very long-handled racket. That was a long leather grip on his racket, which we was scraping with the top of a tennis ball can to rough up the grip because it gets all wet and greasy
as the evening goes on.
Exactly.
In particular. So we're in overtime here. Butch Waltz serving. Very deliberate. Nobody was taking chances there, Julie, were they?
No, they were. Phoenix was trying to keep the dominance of the net. Golden Gators were trying to hit low balls, make them miss. Haha, now that's a team tennis crowd cheering a fault. Not proper at Forest Hills.
Oh, Ross Case.
A beautiful move by Ross Case here. Knowing he had to take a chance, putting his team within 2 points of this Golden Gator Phoenix Racquets World Team Tennis match. Butch Waltz's big serve going for it.
And here it is, match point coming up, 4 of them, as Butch Waltz takes a 3-0 lead on his serve. And he'll serve this one to Fru McMillan. And he was looking for the killer right to top it all off. 3-1.
Short.
Oh, Case had an opportunity to end it on that short lob by Andy Patterson and instead put it into the net. It is now 3-2. Still 2 match points. And that is it. Butch Waltz holds on to his service. And by holding on to a service in the overtime, he gives the Phoenix Racquets a 23-21 victory in a match that saw Golden Gate move out to a 6-3 lead following the mixed doubles, but then Chrissy Everett's 6-2 victory over Terry Holliday, followed by Everett and Shaw beating Francoise Dur and Betsy Nagelson 6-1, and the women's doubles made it 15-9 at halftime. Then Andy Patterson beat Butch Waltz 6-4 in the men's singles, and then McMillan and Patterson over Waltz and Case in the men's doubles, and we had a 1-point contest at 22-21, and it took the overtime for the victory for the Phoenix Racquets by a score of 23-21. Julie, some exciting tennis. Chris Evert finally winning her first World Team Tennis singles match, and you know she's going to win a lot, but you know this, she wanted to get it out of her system and get back into the groove.
Yeah, she said she'd never felt so completely out of it as those first 2 sets she played in team tennis this year. Maybe she won too much before.
Well, she played excellently also in the doubles with Christian Shaw, and that was really the difference tonight, the play of Chris Evert, the 2 Chris's, Chrissy and Chris.
That and Butch Waltz's serve.
And Butch Waltz's serve as well finally won it for the Phoenix Racquets by a score of 23-21 in the overtime. But some great play tonight, particularly from Fru McMillan of the Golden Gators, as he kept his club in with some excellent play in the doubles. That final score, once again, the Phoenix Racquets 23 and the Golden Gators 21. You'll be sure to join Julie and me this coming Thursday right here on Home Box Office. We'll be in Portland, Oregon for more World Team Tennis. Rod Laver and the San Diego Friars face Tom Gorman and Betty Stova of the Seaport Cascades. Coming up right now on HBO, The Duchess and the Dirtwater Fox. And tomorrow, the premiere of Fighting Mad. Tonight's tennis was produced by Tim Brain and directed by Craig Janoff. That final score, once again, the Phoenix Racquets 23, the Golden Gators 21 in overtime. From Oakland, California, this is Spencer Ross and Julie Helbin saying good night. This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.